Well, hello there. I'm going to do another little bit on Belfield, and this is what I consider news. A friend of the channel gave me the heads up on a Guardian newspaper article. I don't normally read the Guardian, so plus I'm at sea, so I don't really get much in the way of internet access. But as we're quite close to land tonight, I've actually read it. As we all know, Alex Belfield is seeking permission to apply for an appeal against his prison sentence. We also know that Judge Sani made an error in assuming that the maximum sentence for Belfield's stalking offences was 5 years. But under the current Policing and Crimes Act of 2017, this carries a maximum penalty of 10 years imprisonment. So Belfield was lucky he didn't get 21 years. Right, however, it may appear that Belfield is having a positive effect on the courts of appeal process for undue lenient sentences. Under the current regulations, a victim only has 28 days in which to lodge an appeal against a lenient sentence. However, this is not the case for the criminal. The criminal, under special circumstances, may extend his appeal deadline greater than the 28 days given to him. And I believe that gives the criminal an unfair advantage. Claire Waxman is London's Commissioner for Victims, and she has asked that the Belfield case be reviewed within the 28-day deadline under the undue lenient scheme, and to have Belfield's sentence extended. Now, in reply to this appeal, Judge Tomlinson, instead of activating the undue lenient scheme, has referred the matter back to Judge Sani, who said that he was aware of the error and was not inclined to interfere with the current sentence. All these delays means that Waxman's appeal is outside of the statutory time limit for referral to the Court of Appeal. Claire Waxman is a bit miffed about the rigidity of the 28-day appeal process for victims and is calling for a reform, and has asked that the 28-day limit be extended in special circumstances, same as the rights of the offender. Claire Waxman stated that this is a perfect example of such discretionary extensions to the appeal process, and this should be made as both the CPS and the judiciary system have clearly acknowledged a mistake in sentencing, but because of the following due process time, it is now run out for this appeal. Tomlinson stated that he understands that if Alex Belfield is seeking to appeal his sentence, and if he does do so, his office will request that the CPS draws the sentencing error to the court's attention. So that's a little bit that from the newspaper article. I'll put a link in the description. Yeah, so it looks like this Claire Waxman started an appeal process against Alex Belfield's undue lenient sentence, and so hopefully she was trying to get it extended, but because of all the delays in the court system, her appeal has now fallen outside of that 28-day period. Now, if it had been Belfield, on the other hand, he would have been able to extend that period because of all the legal processings that are going on behind the scenes. And so his appeal process may have taken more than 28 days to start. However, this Claire Waxman is going to campaign using the Belfield case to extend the victim's rights to appeal, so that those circumstances, once you've applied for an appeal to a court decision, you will have time to put forward your evidence, rather than at the moment, if you can't put forward all your evidence within that 28-day period, it won't go ahead, which I think is very unfair. And as we've all heard, that he may not be granted an appeal. He may not be granted a reduction in sentence if his appeal is successful. What may happen, I think, is that the judges will look at the system and see that yes, there was an undue leniency in the sentencing for Belfield, and maybe increase it. Maybe go to a point where they've just ignored the time already served, so that will give Belfield an extra 7 or 8 weeks in prison. But as we know, that the appeal process will take absolutely months to go ahead. So if that means that Alex Belfield loses his appeal for a more lenient sentence, he'll probably end up doing 2.5 years starting again from the end of the appeal process. So meaning that time served won't count as his sentence, which will be a good thing, in my opinion, of course. Anyway, so that's about it. That's another Alex Belfield rant. There are people out there looking out for the victims of such stalking cases, and hopefully, as a result of this Alex Belfield case, the victims of such crimes will have a fairer chance of getting the proper justice that they deserve. Anyway, that's enough of me. I'm going. See you. Bye then. I'll try and get this out as soon as I can, but we're in the middle of nowhere at the moment, so I don't know. We're getting into port tomorrow now. We're getting tomorrow lunchtime. Anyway, so I waffled on. See you later. Bye then.